Hello, everybody, and welcome to Voices of the Goddess podcast, where we empower, inspire, and uplift women to be the goddesses they were meant to be. I'm Julietta, your co-host, and podcast where we empower, inspire, and uplift women to be the goddesses they were meant to be. I'm Julietta, your co-host, and podcast where we. I think I know what's going on. Or is it coming from your end? And you're muted, so I can't hear you. Anyway, so much fun here. Anyway, back
over,
at it. So what?
You want to start over because our amazing our producer can just cut out that.
Oh yeah, we can just cut this part out, right? Should we do that?
Sure. Was that me? If I was muted, was that me?
Yeah, I think it was you.
It was me. Okay.
I think we're good now.
Yeah.
Right. Take two.
5, 7. Let's keep going.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Voices of the Goddess podcast, where we empower, inspire, and uplift women to be the goddesses they were meant to be. I'm the co-host, Julietta, also known as the Magical PT, here in sunny South Florida, where I have a private physical therapy practice, where I help support women, men, children, everybody finding balance in their body, mind, and spirit. I'm also an artist. I create jewelry and art with healing crystals, and I also paint paintings. And yeah, that's enough about me. I'm joined here with my lovely co-host, Allison. And Allison, tell our audience a little bit about yourself.
Hey, everybody. My name is Allison Mancini, and I am a human resources director for the Gold Digger Girl, which is a company that helps women show up on social media in an authentic way. And I am also a functional nutritionist, and I am living in South Florida, but I'm actually currently in Texas right now, freezing my you-know-what off because it's like 28 out. And yeah, I'm a co-host of this amazing podcast. I have 2 children, a 25-year-old and a 22-year-old, and I have been married to my husband for over 28 years. And I'm just excited to be here with you ladies today.
So we just had our 100th episode. And so I guess this is episode 101.
That's right.
And we decided to bring our producer on the show because, we have all new questions, and we get to ask her these questions too. Well, some of them are kind of tweaked old questions, but new questions too. But before I do that, the really cool thing in season 2 of Voices of the Goddess, we have sponsors, and our sponsor this month is Lyrios Massage and Beyond. Welcome to intuitive healing. So whether you are looking to recharge and replenish or just come in for a little tune-up and a little work, Lyrios Massage and Beyond aims to support your body using various methods and modalities of massage, skincare, energy healing, and more. Their unique intuitive fusion of East and West provides both structural and energetic realignment. From sports massage and deep tissue to cupping and hot stones, they work with your unique situation to provide healing and relief. Visit your calming oasis right here in paradise being Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So, yes, thank you, Lyrios Massage, for sponsoring this episode. And if you need a massage or a facial, you know where to go. So, anyway, Jess doesn't know this yet, but I was talking to Allison earlier about a situation I had this week at the office, and it's really pulled at my heart. I can't stop thinking about it. And so I just want to put it out there to the whole world. And I would love to hear both Allison and Jess's take on how they would have handled the situation. So my office is in a building. I'm on the second floor, and the second floor, I think there's 6 of us that have offices on this floor. We have a shared lobby and a shared bathroom. And so yesterday, in between clients, I needed to use the ladies' room. So I'm going down there to the bathroom, and also one of the other practitioners on this floor was headed there too. So I was behind her, and you have to open 2 doors to get into the bathroom. So as she opens the second door, we can both see there is a homeless woman sitting on the toilet in the stall with the door open. And we're both kind of like in shock, and we both just turn around and leave. I mean, first of all, I have a very strong constitution and I can handle most all physical things, but the smell in there was unbelievable. And my other thought is, if I'm sitting on a toilet, I don't want people sitting there staring at me or talking to me. So I just got out of Dodge, came back to my office, and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to give her 5 minutes. I can hold it that long. But I really had to pee. And I'm like, and I had a limited amount of time before my next client shows up. So anyway, so I wait about 5 minutes. I'm thinking she's got to be gone by now. I go back, I open the door, and she's still sitting there. But at this point, I have no choice. I go in the other stall, I pee, I get out, I wash my hands, and get out of there as quickly as possible. And I'm like back in my office, and I'm just so torn because I feel so much compassion for this woman, like how horrible it is for her to be in her situation. And then I'm also in the space of, this is a private location. Like, my clients come in here and they expect to find clean facilities and not, walk into a dirty, smelly bathroom. This woman eventually leaves, and I went in and I had to clean up the place because it was disgusting after she left. And again, just led me to, this poor woman has nowhere to bathe, has nowhere to clean her clothes, has nowhere to do her stuff. And somehow, and I'm also going, how the heck did she get in here? Like, we have locked doors. Someone let her in. Who let her in? And I also know for a fact that this is not the first time she was in here. I did not see her last week, but I cleaned up after her because I walked into the bathroom again in this disgusting mess. And so anyway, like I said, it's just tearing on my heart because I feel for this woman. Like, I'm so grateful that I am not living her life, that I'm living the life that I am leading. And there's the piece of me that goes, should I talk to her? Should I ask her, like, is there some way I can help you? Should I have been the one to have the conversation? Like, look, I understand that you needed to use a bathroom, but this is a private restroom. You can't just come in here and use this restroom. I don't know. So I'm just curious, like, how other people would have handled this situation. And I'm watching Jess, and I'm going, Jess has a lot to say on this. I know she does.
I feel like something like this has happened to me before, but I can't immediately place it. So I don't want to say that the exact same thing has happened, but I'm getting this feeling like I've walked into somewhere. Yeah, right, maybe. And clearly, if someone's on the toilet, I'm going to shut the door for them, because sometimes that happens. Like, I guess a door might fly open for anybody, let alone this homeless woman. And I think I would have been in shock too, a similar situation as you. Probably would have done the same. Not sure I would have cleaned up that much. I guess it depends on how messy it was. And I guess, like, who's responsible for cleaning the restroom? I don't know if you have like a higher.
In our office, there's no custodial staff that hang out here.
And I probably would have helped clean for sure. Yeah. So, it's a tough spot. It's not meant for their use, and it is an inconvenience. Like, there's a time and a place, unfortunately. Maybe if you do see her next time, and if you can, maybe when she's not using the restroom, maybe you can wait for her outside of the restroom if you want, and you can ask her, like, hey, how did you get in here? This is a private place. It's meant to be for a specific clientele. Can I help you? Here's some information. Here's a phone number. Here's a link. You want to use my phone for a second? whatever it is that you think you can offer. Because I think just doing nothing is a possibility for her to come back. Maybe she's sneaking in, because this is already twice, right?
But
So
someone had to either open the door for her or left the door open, because it is a locked
Yeah.
door to get back where the bathroom is.
Sure.
So
yeah,
I put a sign on the door reminding everybody to keep the door closed.
But I do also have to say, Julietta, I know that that's a locked door to get back to your offices, but I could probably climb over that desk.
I guarantee you, just based on the
She
size,
couldn't?
I don't think she would have.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
I feel over it myself. I have climbed over it myself.
Yeah.
It's not that easy. It's not
I
that
mean,
easy.
I feel like I agree. Listen, you handled it probably way better than I would have. I don't know that I would have done the cleanup part at all. Like, that's just because that grosses me out.
This is my business, and my clients are going to come in and use the bathroom.
I get it. Yeah.
You got to make sure it's good.
Yeah, I get it. And I definitely there's no doubt when I see, because, in South Florida, we all know that we see a lot of homeless people. It's a very common sight for us. They're all over the place. And I do always feel very it definitely pulls at my emotions and pulls at my heart. And I think that Jess has a really great point. You just, how can I help you? And you can't keep coming in here. You just can't, and I am curious how she gets in there too, though, because I'm just curious. And why the second floor? Who picks, you know what I mean? There's so many factors to your office that I'm like, why did she even figure out to go?
You've been here and you've seen it. So it is kind of weird.
So I'm like, why would she even, that's what I'm feeling like. Did someone offer it to her one time?
Maybe.
And so now she's come back again. And that is very possible. And maybe someone really felt bad and offered it to her.
Right.
I mean, I can see that happening, but never thinking she would ever get in again. I don't know.
Is there a way you could speak to your office mates?
So I've spoken to the one that I've seen since this happened. And because a lot of times we're in our offices working with clients and we've got our door closed and a sign, a do not disturb sign on our door. So I have not had the opportunity yet to talk to the other people that share this floor. But definitely when I run into them, I will be speaking with them about the incident. And I would hope that nobody thought it was okay to offer her to come in, but who knows?
But I think also Jess has a really good point of being ready to maybe offer some, you can go here, this place is here, it's down this road, kind of you know what I mean?
A Target across the street or
yeah, right.
Or a homeless shelter or something.
Or a homeless shelter. Yeah, that's what there's got to be something close by.
Yeah. That's a great point, and I will definitely research what's around here and what's available for her. And that's a great suggestion.
Yeah, I will say that I think it's just out of my personality. I haven't studied this or worked in any of this field. I just sometimes strike up conversation with homeless people that I happen to be around when I'm walking around outside some places, and they just want support. They just want help. And I know at the start, it's shocking, it's startling, especially because of their demeanor, the way they look, maybe how they smell, because they don't have opportunities like we do to shower at the very least. So I don't think people get treated very well when they're homeless, and they probably have a really bad reaction to people who are not homeless if you are homeless. Mm-hmm. So in speaking with them, once you start to calm your own nerves about it and start to get to know what is going on with them, you can kind of start to get a feel for okay, this person needs food more right now, or this person needs a home right now, or just listen to what it is that they say they need. Some of them are just not even there, unfortunately.
Sure.
So then I don't know. I have no experience in this. I don't want it to be call the police. It's not that. It's maybe there's a service that can come and collect this person who is not capable of even walking in the street, right? Because they're just not there. Mm-hmm. But I don't even know as far as that. So we'd have to Google and find out what the appropriate step would be, because otherwise, not just to mention that person's well-being, they're still a person. but then they'll still be returning to serve, the purposes of your office. So, yeah.
But it definitely does give a different perspective. Like, think about that for a second. It's probably so nice for her to be in that bathroom.
Probably a really good experience for her. Safe.
Right?
They sat there for a long time.
Right.
Of course, she wants to take her time.
Absolutely.
Safe.
Like, that's definitely a different perspective there. So,
and especially if she's a woman, we all know as experiencing womanhood in the world we live in, it can be dangerous out there for women.
Yeah.
Regardless if you're homeless or not.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, shall we introduce our sponsor? Did we already do that? I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah, that's what I thought. I'm like, but wait, no, I know what we have to do. We have to let Jess introduce herself.
Yeah, we didn't do that.
All right. Thanks for having me. So happy. Like, this is our 101st, so we just got through the 100th episode. It's amazing. I'm glad to be a part of it. I'm the producer. I do the editing, and I'm having a blast producing the podcast, doing the show notes, social media, editing videos. I get to hang out with you ladies. It's been wonderful. It's been a great professional experience, especially meeting all the guests that we've collectively had on. Some people I knew, a lot of people then through Podmatch. Thank you, Podmatch. That's been really good to us, just so that we can continue to spread the good word, right? So just super happy to be here. So a couple other things that I do. I'm also in Miami, Florida. I was checking the temperature. It is 78 and gorgeous out. It was 74 at 7 a.m. this morning when I went for my bike ride to go to the gym. I love Florida. I'm born and raised here in Miami, and I'm never leaving. This is where I will die. I'm also a muralist. I'm also a festival manager I was just hired by Outshine LGBTQ Film Festival. So I'm happy to be connected with them as well. And I just, I do a couple, whatever my heart tells me to do, I go and do. But mostly those three things are like my top thing that I do. I love being in this new like artistic world. For me is beautiful. It's like the perfect move I could have made. So yeah, that's pretty much what I do.
Awesome. Are you ready for the questions, Jess?
I am ready. Pepper me. Let's go.
So what is one book that you wish every goddess would read, and why?
I'm going to stick with the same one that I mentioned last time, which is The Mastery of Love by Don Miguel Ruiz and his son. I forget his name, but Don Miguel Ruiz, who also did the 4 agreements and the 5th agreement, which is love, I believe. So it just works on like so many levels. I can always refer back to it. But a couple years ago, I was just going through a really hard breakup, and it really just helped me get back to myself. There's this thing in the world where, if somebody rejects us, especially somebody that we care so much about, that we think so highly about, that we love, and they reject you, in my experience, and I think in a lot of people's experience, self-esteem kind of goes down, the world comes crumbling down. So reading The Mastery of Love in that moment really just helped me stay together and actually pull myself back together. And I continue to remember certain aspects of it to help me through, somewhat difficult times, like when I start to doubt my skills or my worth, which, happens sometimes. The red book, the size of it, where I was reading in my backyard, which was really nice and lush. I'm blessed enough to have a nice backyard with a lot of trees and shade. And it just takes me back to that moment where like my soul was just sucking up all the nurture from like the spirituality of Mother Earth and reading that book. And so I hope someone else can have a similar experience for whatever it is that they need in their life. And I think the theme of love and mastery of love, the way in which this book is written, could be for everybody. It's really just about accepting and loving yourself. And then, once you're feeling really good and you're able to share yourself with the world, you give that acceptance and love to other people because we need it in the world. So mastery of love. That's it.
Beautiful.
I still haven't read it. I've got to read that book. I've got to read it.
Maybe the next
maybe a next book club. I know. I've got to read that. I keep saying I'm going to read it, and I will.
It's an easy read, and it's short, so it could be a good one for the book club.
Yeah, because this book this month, holy Toledo, it's a hard book to read. My goodness.
Yeah, dense. That's good.
It's like this thick, and it's really small print, and it's
yeah.
It's killing me. All right. Question number 2, Jess, is what is your top self-care practice and how does it support you?
I'm going to switch that. I believe I said bubble baths last time and being in nature. I mean, those are still good. And I still do those, to be honest with you, and especially the nature part. I do a lot of kayaking, but I want to switch it to following my bliss, which is something that a cousin of mine told me. He's a little older. He's like, I think in his 60s. I don't want to age him, but he's got some wisdom on me, and he's a really cool guy. And I went on this really beautiful trip last summer for about 3 months to find myself. I call it my own eat, pray, love trip. And it was really good. I found a good part of myself, and I visited some family, and I was telling him about my trip. And he was like, oh, like that book. And I can't remember the author, but probably like early, 20th century author, American author. And it's about following your bliss. The title of the book is Follow Your Bliss.
Oh, yeah.
And how, right? You may know.
I've heard of it.
It's familiar. I'm sure, American students in high school or middle school read it. And so, that really, for whatever reason, like that conversation that I had with him really clicked with me. And I was having a good time, like there were some difficulties here and there, but I was like, on my journey, on my vacation/journey. And it really just made sense to me. So since then, I have been keeping that more closer to my heart, keeping that in mind. I wrote another little Post-it note for my little wall where I keep a reminder of all the positive affirmations I have for myself. And making sure that every step I take, like when I took this new job, when I'm with you, with other clients, making sure, is there some vein of joy, or am I doing this out of, oh my God, I need a lot of money right now, or gosh, I don't have time, I got to do this or that. Like, I want to make sure that that's not my default, because to me that's like a default of scarcity, and it also combines really well with the default of abundance. And so, having faith and being confident enough to know that I will find my bliss has helped me find my bliss. So that's the self-care I do for myself. It's kind of like a meditative mantra that I do repeat to myself every morning and every evening. So that helps.
Awesome.
I love that. That. And you know what it was years ago, someone said to me, it's something to the fact of, you really like or in the place you should be when you're doing something you do, even if you weren't getting paid for it, kind of like, just you really get joy out of it. And I find that with what I'm doing now in my world, between the podcast and my work at Gold Digger Girl and functional nutrition, I don't tell my boss this, but I would do it without getting paid for it. She knows that already. Anyways, but and I do. And I find myself, like, people will call me up and be like, hey, I know, like you do the nutrition and blah, blah. And I find myself starting to talk to them about it. And I get off the phone. I'm like, wait a second. I should have charged for that. Like, what the?
Consultancy charge.
Yeah. So, I mean, I agree. I mean, I love that you look at that mantra as, finding your bliss. That's awesome.
Yeah. It really has changed a lot in my life, and I can catch myself doing a couple of things for free as well, and that's okay. I'm enjoying it, and it's to share the love, spread the love. So yeah,
I agree. All right, next question. So this is one of our newer questions. We did not have this last time we interviewed you. When you're having one of those days when it's just really difficult to show up, like my morning has been, what tool do you pull out of your back pocket to make it happen?
I guess the Follow My Bliss could be a tool, but there are several more. I think one of the newer skills that I've learned through therapy that I've been doing a lot, this like really great therapy program I've been in for like almost the last 2 years too. And I would say gratitude training as well, is to take a beat, take a breath, and be still. I kind of just like go to my bedroom, close the door, the blinds are shut. I ask my mom for some space, ask her whoever. I don't answer my phone, and I just kind of take a breath, and I think like it's like I talk to myself / I could be like talking to God as well. Like, okay, this is the issue. Let me be very clear with myself and whoever is listening of what I think is going on. This is how I'm feeling. This is why I think I'm feeling so agitated and angry and like sad or depressed or whatever. Let me breathe. I take like 3 breaths. Okay, who or what is the first thing I could, reach out to or do to make me feel better about it, or I feel better taking some sort of action on it after all that like emotional processing that might take like, maybe 15 minutes or so, right? Just like staring at the ceiling, taking a minute. And usually that helps. The breathing helps a lot. And then like taking those like little steps, like I guess I just have committed them to memory because I've been through a lot of stuff and I practiced it. Going through that helps me come out of whatever. I've seen some pretty, good miracles from morning to evening. That's happened. I can say that I'm pretty lucky about that with that. But yeah, I would say taking some time to myself. No matter, like, it can be hard to be like, hey, I got a client right now, gotta attend them, especially if it's in person. But if I really can push it, I will. I'll be like, hey, I'm having a moment. Can I have 5 more minutes or 10 or whatever it is that you need, right? Maybe you need an hour, maybe you need half a day. But if you can, I suggest, do that. And I'm able to do that some of the time. So yeah, I guess in general, it's just like a being still, taking a break, taking a pause, because I've attempted to push through it. Like, oh no, I got too much to do. I'm going to just ram my day through. I'm going to ram through my day and ram myself through the day. And I'm just agitated. I'm just like yelling people at the street, like road rage, Let's not do that. That's not healthy. That's not healthy. So yeah, that's my little tool.
I think that's a great tool. It's similar to kind of what I did today and I'm still not feeling totally myself, but I'm just trying to be present in every moment that I'm in, right? And just being there, because there's so much going on in here and out there, and just trying to be where I'm at. But I like that, taking a deep breath and just kind of self-talking your way through it. And we had another guest actually say that, just actually like having that self-talk of loving yourself, like kind of giving yourself a hug and just being okay, like you said, taking a deep breath and being okay.
Yeah. That's a good idea. I don't really like hug myself, but I'm kind of like laying on the bed. I lay on my back. I lay on my side, kind of snuggling my pillow. Sometimes just a moment. So yeah.
I told Julietta earlier today, I'm like, I just want to crawl in bed and cover up my head.
Yeah.
I'll be good.
I just want to go like time out, and like time literally stops. Like that's what I need. Like, just give me a second,
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so that's what that is.
Okay, so our last question before we wrap things up is, what is, and this could be good or bad, just depends, but what is a life experience that you feel has really formed who you are today and where you're at?
That's right. I helped you come up with that difficult question.
And now you're getting asked it. There you go.
It's coming right back at me.
That's right.
See, I just want to know about other people's stuff. No, I'm just kidding. That's a tough one. My guess is it's probably a day that was both, where both something terrible and something amazing happened. Because in an instant, I can learn something, right? Like, oh my God, this most terrible thing. I want to say, because my life story is, like, try to keep it short. I was in the political arena doing something that I found joy in, but not enough. And I, less and less over the years, was not finding joy or purpose in it. And I broke down and I burnt out. And the way in which I left that arena was not healthy or graceful. But it was also one of the better times of my life, because I continue to look back at that and all the time in between. It's been like 6-7 years now. And like so much that I've learned, that event was a catalyst to the current trajectory that I'm in, and what the trajectory of the last 6 years that got me to where I am right now. And I'm feeling really good, like much better than probably I ever have been off after so much training and therapy, and I think maturity too. Like I'm almost 38 in April, so there's something to be said about coming to that age. Um, um, I, I have to accept that I'm getting older. I still feel like I'm 17 inside, just a big kid. Um, so that was just really difficult for me because and I think it all again it lends to this whole theme of following my bliss, because that's just all I think about all the time. I wasn't doing that at the time, and no wonder I was so unhealthy. I was like 240 pounds. I was extremely overweight.
Wow.
I only worked. I would wake up, work, and go to sleep. And occasionally I would have, drinks with friends and things, but I don't know why I couldn't like carve out appropriate healthy time for me. My romantic relationships weren't well. My family was a little shaky. Like I just wasn't taking care of myself. Everything was just about being successful at my job. And I wasn't even doing that. Like I was okay. I wasn't terrible. But eventually towards the end, I wasn't doing what I needed to do. So I ended up burning out, and in a really ugly way. Uh, I like to say like I quit slash got fired. That's a whole complicated thing. But I would say both did happen. So it was a terrible time, but it was the best thing that could have ever happened to me, because there was just a limit before I was unfortunately I had suicidal ideation. I was at that point, and I was like 32, I guess, or 30. And that's not a time that I thought I would be worrying about that. I thought maybe in my 30s I'd be, more successful and happy and more settled. And I was not. I was just a complete mess. And I needed to have that final, like maybe what you would say like rock bottom type. I've heard people use that term. That was like my type of rock bottom, where I was just completely unhappy. I couldn't even show up to work without crying. That's how I knew like I need to quit. I need to take a break because this is not working for me. I don't have my life together. And that was also like the best thing that I could have ever done for myself and for everybody else. I'm no use to the organization or anyone being such a hot mess like that.
I can't even picture you working all the time and not being with friends. Because the way I know you is you're always with friends and you like traveling and you love being with people. Like I can't even see that in you because I don't know you any other way.
Yes. Yeah.
Vanished from her.
It's
not even in your aura anymore.
That's why you can't do that. That's why, I advocate for a balanced life, because I have been that example, and I was 240 pounds. I'm already like a taller person, but that's very, very overweight. That's not okay. I'm supposed to be like 180-ish. I'm working on like 200 now, but I got more muscle.
Yeah, but you're also extremely tall.
Yeah, but still, like it's bad on the back and my joints, and like talk about like the internal self-esteem. Like I knew I wasn't in control. I was just like, let me eat the easiest fast food I could get my hands on, because I need to give 10 more minutes to my work instead of finding a salad.
Yeah.
That's how bad it was. Like my whole self-worth was just as my professional identity. I didn't have I used to. I don't know how I fell into that hole, but somehow, for what I haven't figured that out, I fell into that hole of the only identity that matters is my professional identity. And that can't be. In my opinion, definitely for myself, but I'm pretty sure for everybody else, because I'm nobody special, we have several identities. There are so many aspects of ourselves that I'm sure we don't even get to uncover by the time we die at 100, hopefully. So I learned the lesson of build and maintain all the different identities. Like I'm an athlete, I'm an artist, I'm an activist. Like I'm all the A's, like, I'm a family member, right? So
you're every woman.
I'm nice. Good job. Put that in. Good job. Watch our 100th video and you'll understand what that means. So yes, I am every woman. I am every man. I am every non-binary. That's how I identify. I'm a queer person. And so, yeah, I could probably go on about that, but that moment in my life was the best and worst. And look how it, I think, made it better, because you can always learn from like failure, so.
That's a great story to share. Thank you for sharing that. And we need to get the ball rolling and wrap this show up.
Yes, let's do it.
We could seriously talk. Yeah.
But
yes,
very quickly, Jess, what is the one thing you want our audience to take away from this show?
I used to be hopeless. I used to actually contemplate suicide. And I actually am a person who is like a triple minority who has gone through a lot of stuff, but also has had the privilege of loving parents and like opportunity, like higher education. So if whoever you are who's listening to this right now, listening to me, I promise you, I feel like I was not going to escape and get out of deep, dark depression where I didn't get out of bed for days and shower. It can happen. It will get better. It does get better. Somebody will help you. I will help you. Contact me and we'll figure it out, because it can happen. I used to think not. And I got enough support to realize, like, after a long time of working on myself, it can happen. And I have like lofty goals for myself, but I'm happy at least I have those lofty goals. I'm sure I'll get somewhere close, right? So it can happen.
Shoot for the moon and you'll get to the stars.
Exactly.
No, I think that's a great thing, because we have far too many young adults in their 20s and 30s that are choosing to take their lives because they don't see a way out. And I think for you to say that out loud, and Juliet and I've talked about this in past episodes, mental health and depression, they're pretty serious, and they're severe. And a lot of people are dealing with it, people you don't even realize. Because that's the thing. No one walks around saying, I'm so depressed and I'm thinking about killing myself. Like, you just don't do that, you know? Yeah, right. So it's definitely, I mean, I've had my fair share of that over the years, and it's
tough.
I agree. Reach out. I think you're absolutely right. You have to reach out to somebody, even just, somehow. I don't know. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, we got to wrap it up because we're like way past.
Thank you so much for joining us, Jess, and thank you for everything you do for the show and all your support here. We love you. We appreciate you. You're amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to our sponsor, Lyrios Massage and Beyond. If you need some stress relief, some relaxation, whatever, go see Marcia and her team over there. And thank you to our listeners. Please subscribe, like, follow, share, all that good jazz. Comment, give us some reviews. We love it. We love it all. And what else? I think that's it.
Thank you. It was my pleasure. It was my bliss.
Yay. Thank you, Jess. Thank you.
Have a magical day, everyone.
Bye.